tell me about the Avian Service Center. What was the original concept, how it came to be, and then also its eventual demise, if you know?
Well, Jim Jenner instigated that, and he did a lot of work developing a plan whereby the Avian Service Center would represent all pigeon organizations. I mean, not just the AU, but they would represent the AU, the IF, the NPA, I think even was considering the Canadian Racing Pigeon group. Actually, Canadian Racing Pigeon was pretty active in cooperating with the AU about that time, with a fellow named Bill Badgerow. He was the president of Canadian Racing Pigeon Union. So the concept was that the Avian Service Center would be a service center for the pigeon organizations. They would do all of the clerical duties, bands, diplomas, everything to do with clerical duties. And that was the concept. It did come about. In other words, they did get the organizations, the IF and the NPA, all we banded together. We had a board, we had meetings. The demise of it was probably due to we went too fast, spent too much, too soon, and it caused problems. So we had one board member named Jack Anderson from Tulsa. He wasn't a racing pigeon man, but he was a real good businessman, and he told us we were going too fast. And I don't think we realized it well, I didn't at the time, and I contributed to going that fast too. I supported it. Jenner had some really good plans, though. I'm sorry that it didn't work out.
Several thoughts jump to mind here. There was a fellow by the name of Paul Wolke, and if I'm correct, he was the gentleman that was actually running the service center.
Right.
Another thought is, each of these organizations that you mentioned was approached about contributing some funds for that. I'm going to throw out the amount of $5,000. I think there were varying amounts depending on the size of the membership that these different organizations have. I want to say that the AU contributed $5,000, and maybe the IF or the CU or the MPA might have contributed $1,500, depending on the size of their organization.
Right.
That was startup money.
Right.
And then as the service center went along, it was supposed to actually generate a profit, as I understand.
Right.
And for whatever reason, the concept wasn't bought in by all parties, and it really never developed in the way that Jim Jenner thought it would.
No, it didn't develop as he planned. And a lot of money was spent. This money was spent on equipment that before its time. I think we bought too much equipment, spent too much money on equipment that really wasn't necessary at that time. But this is hindsight.
Now, some of this equipment might be a large copy machine, is that?
And telephone equipment. I remember the telephone system that
Okay.
was put in was extensive. Really wasn't, I don't think, needed.
It was maybe more than what our needs were.
Oh yes, I think so. Now, looking back at it,